Hello and welcome. Today we're going to dive into something that can truly shift how we connect with God. We're talking about moving from a prayer that's all about asking to one that's deeply rooted in gratitude. We're going to find out what happens when we start not by asking for things, but just by saying thank you. This quote from Emma Whitmore, wow, it just hits you, right? This is where our story starts today. It's about that feeling of being spiritually exhausted, where the sheer weight of everything on our minds can make prayer feel, well, almost impossible. And I bet a lot of you listening right now have felt exactly like that. It's that moment when prayer feels less like a comfort and more like a chore, Like you're just sending pleas out into the silence. And if you've been there, you know just how lonely that can feel. So let's talk about Emma's journey. It really shows what happens when this spiritual heaviness becomes your new normal. She found herself just completely stuck in this loop of asking and waiting and just wondering why things weren't changing. And then she heard these words from Bishop David Oyedepo. And for her, it was like a thunderclap. It just completely flipped her perspective. What if the key isn't asking for more, but in being truly, deeply grateful for what you already have? So she tried it, and it wasn't some complicated new ritual. Instead of making her usual list of needs, she just started listing her blessings. Simple things, like, thank you for my breath, or thank you for the sunrise this morning. It wasn't about pretending her problems weren't there, but it was about inviting God's presence right into the middle of them through gratitude. And what Emma's story really opens up for us is this incredibly powerful spiritual principle. You see, Thanksgiving isn't just about being polite to God. In many faith traditions, it's described as the actual key that unlocks a much deeper connection with Him. This verse from the Psalms, it just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? It suggests that Thanksgiving isn't an optional extra. It's the designated entry point. It's the very first step we're supposed to take when we want to draw closer to God. So what is a Thanksgiving prayer really? Well, it's this intentional act of just showing appreciation. It's gratitude for the really big things, of course, like salvation, but it's also for all those quiet, unseen mercies, the little things we so often just take for granted. Okay, so this all might sound kind of deep and profound, but actually getting started on this path is remarkably simple. It doesn't take some grand gesture or super eloquent words. All it takes is a small shift in where we put our focus. The starting point for all of this is just remembrance. That's it. It's a practice that's fueled by looking back, by consciously taking a moment to recall God's faithfulness, all the answered prayers, and the countless little moments of grace in our lives. And look, if you're thinking, I don't even know where to start, these points right here are a beautiful guide. You can literally just give thanks for the simple gift of another day, for that sense of peace you felt, even just for a moment in the middle of chaos, or for the strength you didn't even know you had to get through something tough. And this verse from Lamentations, wow, it really gets to the heart of why we can always find something to be thankful for. God's mercies aren't some finite resource that we can use up. No, they are brand new every single morning, giving us a fresh start and a fresh reason to say thank you. All right, so how do you turn this into a real daily habit? It's actually a pretty simple rhythm. First, you just remember. Then you express that gratitude. Say it out loud, sing a song, whatever feels right. And finally, you work on making it a habit, consciously choosing to say thank you instead of focusing on a complaint. So let's get to the good stuff. What actually happens when we make this shift? Because this practice of Thanksgiving isn't just about feeling nice for a moment. It's believed to bring about real, tangible, spiritual results in our lives. I mean, just look at these benefits. We're talking about a peace that can actually push back anxiety. Gratitude is said to preserve our blessings, even multiply them. It renews our strength when we feel like we have nothing left. It literally changes the spiritual atmosphere around us, turning our trials into powerful stories of faith. This right here, this is something I think we can all relate to. It's a really common mistake we make. When our prayers start with "give me," it so often leads to anxiety and impatience, right? But when they start with "thank you," that's what builds faith. It shifts our whole view of God from just a provider of things to worshiping Him for who He actually is. So as we start to bring this all together, let's really focus on the core promise here. Gratitude isn't just for a holiday or for big special occasions. It's a powerful, daily practice that has the ability to reshape our faith from the ground up. I absolutely love this idea. Gratitude is the believer's proof of faith. Just think about that for a second. It means that thanksgiving isn't passive, it's an active demonstration of trust. It's like we're telling God, even before I see the answer, I believe you are good, and I thank you for it. It's faith in action. And I want to leave you with this final, beautiful thought. Grateful people never stop rising. It paints this picture of a grateful heart having this kind of spiritual buoyancy, a posture that just keeps lifting you up no matter what's going on in your life. So, I'm going to leave you with this question to just sit with for a moment. Right now, in this very moment, what is one thing, big or small, that you can give thanks for? Because starting right there, well, that can change everything. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.